This presentation offers the do-it-yourself marketer a brief guide to branding. Brand is more than a visual identity, more than a logo, more than a name. Brand is a concept that exists in the mind of your customer. It taps into the rational and emotional aspects of the decision-making process to create a point of distinction between you and your competitors. Brand is the most important thing your customer will ever know about you. What's more, branding is not a one-time event. It's a process, one that establishes the vision and purpose for your organization and should be built on well-defined and carefully articulated core values and principles. An effective brand strategy becomes a blueprint for the creation and implementation of all marketing, communication, and customer service initiatives. Yet brand is a living thing, and it must be nurtured and adjusted and realigned as the needs of your marketplace evolve. Fortunately, the power to control your brand is in your hands, and if you take a proactive approach to your brand, you can control your success. The sheer power of brand, its ability to influence, if not control, market decisions, makes it a critical element in the success of any organization. That's why branding must be approached strategically. Many companies take a design-centered approach to branding. They may employ research and follow a careful planning process, but in the end, their outcome is largely defined in terms of visual identity or look and feel. These companies miss the opportunity to build brand in the minds of their audience, let alone the soul of their organization. Other companies approach branding as if it were just another step in the development of a marketing plan. Their lack of branding experience leads them to choose the wrong tools or processes. But inappropriate use of even the most valuable tools can lead to disaster. For example, applying market segmentation inappropriately in the branding process can actually lead to brand confusion. Branding is not a cookie-cutter process. It must be tailored to fit the situation and the needs of the organization served. Still, the process options can be organized into 5 broad phases: exploring and defining brand from an internal perspective, assessing external perceptions of the brand as well as preferences and values of the target audiences, strategic development of the brand, including a brand promise and key brand attributes, design and execution of the visual components of the brand, and development of a carefully planned roadmap for implementation and maintenance. Let's take a closer look at each of the 5 phases. The first step of the internal analysis phase is to clearly spell out your organization's objectives. Are you interested in growth, in profits, in accomplishing a social mission? And how will you know when you achieve that goal? The second step is to take an honest look at the things that differentiate you from those who compete against you. What makes your organization or your products and services unique? How are you better? Why should your market prefer you? Third, review your existing communications materials, both physical and electronic, with a critical eye. What are you really saying to your public, to your employees? Fourth, ask your employees to define your brand. Ask them what they think your customers want and how well they think you meet your market's needs. And ask them what they think of the organization that they work for. What makes them proud? Where do they feel the organization falls short? Next, look at your beliefs, your organizational values, and your vision. Take a look at the industry or sector where you compete. Finally, reaffirm your audiences and your offerings, and then write down exactly where you think you are in terms of brand, your strengths and your weaknesses, your hopes and your shortfalls. You're probably familiar with many of the tools at your disposal, but if you're not, just call your local business college or go online or consult a professional marketing firm for guidance. The second phase, external analysis, will provide a clearer picture of your brand. Because all organizations compete for the attention of their audiences, start by taking a close look at your competition. How do your competitors position themselves? How do they portray you? Are they accurate? Are they believed in the marketplace? If you haven't already done so, then size and segment your marketplace. Decide which groups you most need to influence, and target those groups throughout the branding process. Survey your most important audience segments to find out what they think of you and what they think of your competition. And while you have their attention, ask them what they value in a provider. What do they think is important? What characteristics or actions do they admire? Armed with a clearer understanding of your organization and your audiences, you can now decide how you want to be perceived. Your brand platform will articulate that position and provide a framework for creative development and execution of your brand strategy. Using the needs and values of your target markets as a standard, identify ways your organization, your products, and your services meet your market's expectations. At the same time, be brutally honest about where you could improve. Cite specific actions your organization could take in every department to better represent the values of your customers or better meet their needs. Now, make a promise to yourself and to your customers. What will your new brand be? What will you look like when you live that brand? Revisit the words you use to define your organization, all the way through to your product names and the name of the organization itself. Do your words resonate with the needs and values of the marketplace? If not, change them. Develop a short tagline that helps define your offerings or your values. If your name alone does not clearly state what you are and what you do, then use the tagline to make those things clear. If it does, then focus the tagline on your values. Work up a detailed list or map of desirable brand attributes. These will be helpful in realigning your organization and in developing new products and services. Articulate your organization's competitive advantages in terms that align with your customers' needs and values. Define profiles that personify your market segments. If you've segmented your market according to needs, this process will be easy. Pay particular attention to the commonalities of each group's members. Then, define messages for each target audience, explaining why your organization and its products or services meet the needs of each market segment in a way that's congruent with their values. Your careful and introspective work in Phase 3 should yield several valuable brand assets that help define your brand, control its perception, and articulate meaningful messages that resonate with your market. Now, you're ready to begin developing or refining the visual elements of your brand. These include logos and product marks designed to represent not only your offerings, but also their benefits as well as the values of your audience. By leveraging your new and clearer understanding of your buyers and your market segments, you'll be able to determine which messaging vehicles and message delivery channels will effectively convey your brand message. You will want to develop a style guide for all branded communication to ensure that your brand and your messages are delivered with clarity and consistency. And using those rules, you can now develop an arsenal of promotional vehicles that deliver your brand messages. The final phase of your brand development journey is all about execution. Here, you will plot a roadmap for the many travels of your brand messages. To ensure your brand messages are delivered consistently by all members of your organization, current and future, as well as your partners, it's a good idea to codify guidelines for the execution of your brand. You should identify brand advocates and brand champions inside your organization as well as outside your organization to help you promote your brand. Of course, you will also need to equip them for the job with appropriate messages and resources. Your marketing and human resources departments can help you develop programs that communicate your brand promise and that reinforce or promote brand positive behaviors. You should develop a plan to articulate your brand to your employees and help them find ways to embody the brand in their daily interactions with customers and with each other. You will need a plan to communicate your brand effectively to customers, to suppliers, and to the general public. And once you launch your new brand, you will need to continually monitor and refine the branding process to maintain alignment with the changing needs and values of your market. The 5 phases described in this process, of course, cannot guarantee success. But if you're honest with yourself and your marketplace, they will help you develop a brand management plan. And one thing is sure, your odds of success increase dramatically with a well-executed plan.